Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to show you a swap card that I've made for a group of demonstrators that always swap cards for new catalogues, and it's a wonderful group that I belong to. And this is one of my cards, and I'm making it with one of the new sets from the mini catalogue, and it's the Fine Art Floral set that I'm using. And this suite is so pretty. I can't show you everything at the same time, but it has beautiful stamps, really pretty designer series paper, and a gold acetate window sheet that will fit over the paper as well, just to give you those gold highlights. It's got ribbons, it's got gold leafing, it's got its own embossing folder, and really pretty paper. And today I'm only going to use the stamp set and the designer series paper. And if you buy just those two items and add probably $15 more to your order, that would be enough for you to make these cards and to choose something from the Celebration catalogue as well. So let me show you how I made my card and what I used. It's a really simple layout, but it's so pretty. I've stamped the insides, and of course I've made my envelope to match. And what I did first was choose the designer series paper I wanted. And that gave me all the ideas of which colours of ink and cardstock to use. And this was the paper. This is all I've got left from making my swap cards, but I'll show you just how I cut the paper first. Now, for the fronts of my cards, I only needed a 4-inch wide piece. So what I did was I cut my paper horizontally at 5 1/4 inches, and then just trimmed down at 4 inches, and then the same again. And that leaves you one nice long piece like this. And that can be used on lots of other cards. I find that if you do your 4-inch strip first and cut all the way down, you end up with still a nice piece of designer series paper, but this smaller piece is harder to use. And I find that these would go great on envelopes, on the insides of cards, even for the main focus of a card. So what I did was chose my piece of paper, and then to see what colours were in there, you check over on the back of the card, and it shows you exactly what colours are in all of the pieces of paper. So you know exactly which inks to choose and which cardstock to choose just to match your paper. And that's one great thing about the Stampin' Up, because everything always matches. You don't have to worry about trying to find the right colour card or the right colour papers. You know exactly what's in it. So here is a piece of my designer series paper. And if you look, I've chosen like the pool party colour here for the base of my card. Let me get my card back. Where did I hide it? Here we go. So I chose the pool party because it's here. I chose Pretty Peacock for some of my stamping because it shows here. And then for the yellows in this, I chose the So Saffron and the Bumblebee. And then for the inside of my, like the stamens and everything on the inside of my flower, I wasn't sure whether I was going to use Merry Merlot or terracotta tile. So all I did was just stamp them on scrap card and see which one I liked better. And I actually liked the terracotta tile because it matched this colour here. So it does really make it easy. Stampin' Up make it wonderfully easy for us. So let me show you how I put it together. I've got my piece of pool party, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. I've got the dimple on the top, so I'm just going to fold that over. Okay, and then my designer series paper, just so easy, I'm going to pop it right on the front. I don't need to do a lot of extra embellishments or accents or anything, because this paper is going to do it all for you. If you check over on my blog, I will have all the measurements of all the paper and cardstock I use, so you don't need to worry about writing anything down. Okay. Now, for the inside, I've got a piece of Whisper White, And I've got a piece of Whisper White that I cut out with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Now let me just get those and I can show you which one I used. These dies, they've got these scalloped rectangles and also these little pieces that are great for sentiments and for layering as well. And I just took the biggest of the dies. Okay, and I ran that through the cut and emboss machine, so I've got my little front piece ready. And I've also got my envelope ready because I'm going to do all of my stamping all at one time. Okay, so I've got my art gallery stamps and I'm going to use these two pieces for the flower. This is the piece for the stem and this little piece here for the inside. And then I just chose the sentiment that I wanted. I need to make thank you cards, so I just chose the thank you one. But I did also make one with one of the other sentiments so that you can see it works with all of the sentiments in the stamp set. So let's move those around. I'm going to get my pretty peacock first. And I like to do all the stamping first of all, and rather than make the front and then later on make the inside and then the envelope, I like to do it all at the same time. So I'm starting off with the leaf and my pretty peacock. Let me just, yep, I just wanted to check that that was the right way around. This is going to be for the inside. I'm just going to put that leaf on an angle and I'm going to do it exactly the same with every single piece. Just put some more ink there. And then my envelope as well. Now, if you didn't want the envelope to be as strong a colour, what you could do is, let me move that and find another envelope, do just second generation stamping. So we've already stamped one envelope, so it would be just much paler for you. Okay. Right, so next I'm going to do my sentiment, and that's only for this front piece, and I've already got my thank you ready to go. And I'm just going to pop it right in the middle of my front piece here. And that's it. I don't need the pretty peacock anymore. I'm done with it. So next I've got my So Saffron, and I've got the larger flower that's just like the plain image. It's not the highlight piece. So I've got the plain flower and my So Saffron. And I try and line up the very end of this stem with that little V in there. It doesn't matter if it doesn't line up perfectly. It looks great however you put it on. I'm just using that as a reference point. And all of the designer series paper would work really nicely with this. And just choose your colours accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to do my second generation stamping on this second envelope. I might as well while I've got the ink there. So that's all of my bumblebee, all of the So Saffron, and next is the bumblebee. And now I've got the highlighting piece, the second stamp set for it. And now this takes a little bit more lining up. And I found that the easiest way to do it is to line this top piece, let me show you, this top piece with the edge of this flower here. And I just have to move it down so I can see that. If it's not quite lined up, it really doesn't matter, because it's sort of a free flow, like you've just painted it. So it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It's pretty however you put it together, and it's a handmade card. It's not meant to be something from Hallmark where every single card is the same. Let's do the envelope. And then let's do our second envelope here. Okay, and that's that one all finished. Next, I'm going to take the terracotta tile and this is for the little inside piece where the little stamens are. So I'm going to open my ink. Now, because this has got like a pinky hue, it will stain the photopolymer stamps, but it doesn't detract from using them. You don't get any of the ink transferred or anything, so don't worry about that. I love how vibrant these colours are though, and how easy the stamping is. Okay, so I'm done with that one. I will clean all of these later. You don't need to sit and watch me clean a stamp. Okay, so let's go back to assembling our card. This is the piece for the inside. I'm just going to use my stamping seal. Pop it inside there. Okay. And then for the front, I cut my bumblebee because it was the same colour as one of the highlights on here, and I wanted to pick out a colour that was both on the designer series paper and on my cardstock. So I've made it so that it's just a little bit bigger all the way around, and that would just give you enough of a highlight. Pop that on there. If you wanted to, you could attach this with dimensionals. If you wanted it to stand off and pop off from the card just a little bit. I'm not going to, because I know I'm mailing these cards, and I don't like to put too many layers on if I'm mailing. Okay, and then you could put it straight in the middle. I just liked mine at a little angle. Okay. And you could leave your card exactly like that. It's a beautiful card, and the recipient, when they opened it, they would love it. I added onto mine a little bow, and I used the seam binding ribbon. Now, this is quite staticky, so when you tie a bow with it, it can just stick to your fingers and everything. And I found that all of the rolls of this are static, but it's so versatile and so pretty that I use a lot of it. And I've tied just a little bow, only small, and I'm just going to attach it here with a glue dot. Now, if you wanted to have a colour on your ribbon and you don't have many coloured ribbons, then the seam binding is really good to colour. Let me pop this on and I'll show you how. I'm just going to move that glue dot a little bit and pop it on there. Now, let me find, here's that scrap piece that I was showing you when I was choosing the colours. And if you want to make a coloured ribbon, here's one that I've already coloured. And you could attach that just the same. It does take a little while to dry, but it's really easy to do. I've just got a length of the seam binding ribbon and one of the blends. Now, if you don't have blends, you can use ink refill and put a couple of drops in water and put your whole piece of ribbon in, and when it's taken the colour, take it out and leave it to dry. I like blends because it's fast. And what have I got here? Light Calypso Coral. And all you do is just colour on top. And the colour goes right through. You don't have to colour the back as well. But just be mindful that it takes a few minutes to dry. If you didn't want to use ribbon, if you wanted to use linen thread, you can colour that just the same. Now, this is some of my linen thread that's from near the end of the roll. So it's actually quite curly. And to make it straight, I just go down with my thumb and my finger, and that makes it straight. And then again, you just do the same. Go over, but this time, because it doesn't soak through like the ribbon, you just turn it over, and there you are. You've got coloured linen thread, coloured twine, and you don't have to buy quite so many things. You can use this white one for every colour you need. Okay, now if you wanted to jazz it up even more, you could add some little rhinestones, some of our pearls. You could add some of the gold leafing that comes with this suite as well, and put just little highlights on the flower. I think it's one that you could keep quite plain and simple, or you could step it up if you wanted to. So there we are, that's my card from the new catalogue for my swaps. And as I said earlier, if you bought just the stamps and the designer series paper and spent another $15, you could choose a free gift from the celebration catalogue. So, you know, always bear that in mind, that you don't need many supplies, but you could get something for free too. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Take care and enjoy the new catalogue. Bye.